making her fifth appearance on our Tony specials. Won't you please welcome to the neighborhood once again Raven Snook. She is the editor of TDF Stages. She's also a contributing theater critic to Time Out New York and a Drama Desk nominator, not just a voter, but a nominator. But of course, we'll be talking Tonys with Raven Snook because her category is lead actor in a musical. Let me just give you the rundown first. It's Nicholas Christopher in Chess, Luke Evans in the Rocky Horror Show, Joshua Henry in Ragtime, Sam Tutty in Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, and Brandon Uranowitz also from Ragtime. So first of all, welcome, Raven. Welcome back. How was your season overall?
Well, this was my second season as a Drama Desk nominator, and we considered 270 shows. So I would say my season was chaotic, jam-packed. We consider shows on Broadway and beyond, which is why we consider so many more than Tony nominators. They only considered 35 this year.
Here, I'm kind of curious. Let's say the 230 shows that you saw. Could you give a percentage of like what weren't worth seeing at all?
Oh,
What
wow.
were okay to see, but you don't want to see again? And, what percentage would be like, yeah, glad I saw this?
The thing is, and this has been my experience ever since I started seeing theater, is that most shows fall into that middle ground of some good stuff, some bad stuff. It's very rare that you see something like Dance of the Vampires where you think, oh my God, I'm going to remember this for the rest. I literally was like in the middle of that show thinking, for the rest of my life, I'm going to think about how bad this was and just how misguided. Or something that's just so superb. Something that comes to mind is when I saw Alan Coming in Cabaret and just thought, wow, this show has completely been renewed for me. I also saw Eddie Redmayne in it and thought this has been renewed in a terrible way for me. So, it's very rare that you have those extremes. I guess, and I tend to get something out of theater that even I don't like generally. It's hard to say percentage wise. I mean, probably there's only 10% that is just superb that you want to go see again. There are definitely shows I saw multiple times this year. Mexodus was one of them. Well, I'll Let You Go. These are off-Broadway shows. Burnout Paradise, it was actually 2 different seasons, but I saw that twice. And then there's maybe 10% where you're like, yeah, that was really just, that's time I'm going to want back on my deathbed. That's how, to me, if a show is so bad that I'm like, at the end of my life, I'm going to think, I could have used that 90 minutes, then, it goes down in my work.
We have about 10 minutes here with Raven. So, Raven,
Okay.
let's get to the big category, which is lead actor in a musical this year. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's not a secret that this was not a great year for musicals on Broadway. There were only 6 new musicals, only 4 are nominated, and there were only 5 revivals, and 2 of them, Mamma Mia and Beetlejuice, were really just stops on tours. They were sort of like, encore runs with new actors. So it just, there weren't a lot of musicals. What can I say? And this category, I kind of feel like I picked the easiest category because the fact is, when Joshua Henry made his debut as Coalhouse Walker back at Encores in 2024, it wasn't even on Broadway yet, that production of Ragtime. And at that time, people were like, this will be his Tony. I mean, even before it transferred, people kind of felt like there's just no way it's not going to be Joshua Henry's Tony. So far, I mean, we don't know yet for sure, but so far things have been going his way. I mean, first of all, the production transferred. It's the first production at Lincoln Center Theater under the new artistic director, Lear de Bassinet, who had directed it at Encores, and she brought it over. And then he's won many, many awards. He won the Drama Desk for Best Performance in a Musical. Now, at the Drama Desk, we don't divide by gender. So we actually award 2 awards for Outstanding Performance. So he won alongside Casey Levy, who's his co-star in Ragtime. I think she probably will also win the Tony. But yeah, I mean, any other year, I would tell you that Nicholas Christopher was going to win for Chess, because Nicholas Christopher is just a phenomenon. I have loved him ever since I saw him as Pirelli in Sweeney Todd. He was Joshua Groban's understudy. I did not get to see him go on as Sweeney Todd, but people said that he was even better than Groban. And Chess is sort of like the culmination of this talent that we saw growing. He also did, at Encores, he did Jelly's Last Jam. He's just really superb. And like I said, any other year I'd be like, it's Nicholas's year. It's not Nicholas's year. He's going to have to wait. It's Joshua Henry's year. And then we have the also-rans. We have Luke Evans as Frankenfooter, who does a really nice job of taking a role that is so affiliated with Tim Curry. And I wrote in something that he gives it a bit of a Curry flavor, but he makes it his own. He really does. And he walks very confidently in very tall heels. And then Sam Tutty in Two Strangers is really someone to watch. It's his Broadway debut. He's been with this show since it started in London. He's always played the role, and it's a kind of an impossible role because it's a man who's, you have to believe, is really naive and also is very nudgy and very sort of needy, but he manages to still be charming. It is not an easy thing to navigate, and he does a fabulous job. So I'm excited to see what comes next for him. And, Brandon Uranowitz's Tata and Ragtime, he's had an incredible journey with Ragtime. He started as the little waspy boy in Toronto when he was like 10. They fired him because, he's not a little waspy boy. And at the time, it was a real setback for him because this is what he wanted to do as his career. Obviously, he's had a very nice career. He already has a Tony Award. And so playing Tata, which is a role much more aligned with sort of, let's face it, I'm a Jew too, with his ethnicity and just who he is, I think it's been just sort of a reclaiming of the experience of Ragtime for him. But even he said, and this is even before the Tony nominations came out, even he said, like, I will be happy to cheer on my co-star Joshua Henry when he wins. I mean, everyone is, if Joshua Henry doesn't get it, it's going to be an insane upset. Yeah.
All right.
And
Wow.
I mean, I will really be screaming at home. He doesn't win.
No, it's funny because another critic that I believe is Jonathan sorry, it's David Finkel is very much a Sam Tutty man. So it's kind of interesting to see. There might be a little bit of but we'll see.
I don't think there is. I mean, I think if anyone will give him a run, it'll be Nicholas Christopher. Look, Sam Tutty does an incredible job with, like I said, a very challenging role. But it's, Two Strangers is very sweet. It's very uplifting. Ragtime is very much of this moment. I mean, the real contest is going to be whether Ragtime wins Best Revival or Cats, because Cats is the complete reinvention of a show we all thought we knew. And Ragtime is a beautiful, glorious, heartfelt revival of a show we know. But I do think
of shows that Raven Snook, we have a minute or two left to discuss one or two of the, you may have mentioned them already, but the shows that you loved most this whole season, and they were?
Well, so I did mention two of them. So the best musical I saw hands down this season was off Broadway. It's called Mexodus. It's a 2-person show with Nigel G. Robinson and Brian Cajada. They wrote it. They star in it. They play all the music live. They do all this live looping, and it's a fictional story inspired by a fact a lot of people don't know. I didn't know. They didn't know before they started writing it that some enslaved people, instead of fleeing north with the Underground Railroad, fled south to Mexico, where slavery was illegal, to try to get away, to try to escape and find freedom. So they write a story based around that, where they also play themselves in parts. It's a really, it's one of those musicals that's informative, it's moving. From a technical standpoint, it's ambitious and impressive. And it's also really just a really great time.
Yeah, you're not the only one to be talking up Mexodus a lot.
It's great. And I'm glad it came back for an encore run. It's running down at the Daryl Roth Theater until mid-June. And then the other one that also has an encore run is Well, I'll Let You Go. It's by Bubba Wheeler. It's directed by Jack Serio. These guys are on either side of 30, and it's this incredibly moving play about a middle-aged widow looking back on her life and sort of reassessing everything through a series of 2-person scenes where because her husband died under sort of weird circumstances, where she assesses or reassesses everything about her life with him and her own life and what she thinks and who her relationships are with. And I cannot believe somebody who was in his early 30s wrote this play. It's really quite lovely, and it's having an encore run at Studio Seaview till the end of June.
Well, I hate to let you go, Raven, but
I can
we
talk
have
forever.
some, and I could listen forever because you're so informed and informative about theater. So I want to remind people that they can read you at TDF Stages. Also, sometimes you write for Time Out New York, and you do have a website, ravensnook.com, that people can look at and follow.
And you can
you
follow me on Facebook or Instagram. At Instagram, I list all my articles in a link tree.
Well, go find Raven Snook, and we'll find you next year, of course,
Yes.
talking about Broadway with us. Thank you, Raven.
Good to see you. Bye.